Throw up the first slide. Okay, is anyone in this room ready for the next level of leadership in their business? Yeah. You want more out of your business. You have a bigger vision for your business. That's what this is about. And a lot of times, and I can speak from experience on this one, we get into our business, there are so many moving parts to this business that we're there's times where I've sat down at my desk and I'm like, where do I start? Which one is more important? And am I alone? You guys, would that be helpful if I could help you figure out where to start as for the next level? Okay, so the things that we're going to talk about, identifying the focus. What is your focus in the business? A lot of people don't realize that we have seasons of focus, okay? So some seasons you're going to be focused on just selling. Some seasons you're going to focus on sponsoring. And it depends on where you're at in your business as far as numbers go. And it also depends on where you want to go. And what you're going to realize, I hope, by the end of this, is that you are in control. As much as you look at your business and think, well, if she doesn't hit green, if I don't have the 4 frontline greens, I will never make black status, and that I can't control that, you can absolutely control that, okay? And so mapping your team and knowing how to map and when to focus and what season is the way to control that. So identifying your focus, your KPIs. You're looking for people who have key performance indicators, just in case you didn't know what that was. So you're looking for people who are producing. You're looking for people who are working. You're looking for people who want to grow. You're looking for people who have the vision. And there are ways that you can identify that. And just like Sherry said, you're going to dig deep. You're going to dig deep into your team. A lot of people also have that where they're like, well, I don't want to step on Susie's toes. It's her team. She'll get really mad at me. When? Like, sorry, Susie, this is our team. We're working together, and if you don't want the help, sorry, Susie, I'm going into the team, okay? Because you do, she said, the responsibility to those presenters to help them to success, because they're here for that. So, knowing who they are and digging deep to get there, mapping to their goals. I should have put their goals in like bright sparkles, exploding things, their goals, not mapping to your goals. It's the saddest thing ever when I have a presenter go, yeah, my sponsor only checks in on me whenever, if I'm not gonna hit X, Y, and Z of their goals for the month because they need to pay their bills. Yep. Well, then they should get to work. So you need to understand that when you're mapping, it's really a combination of what are their goals, what are they going to hit this month, and then where's the gap. You're the one to fill in that gap. If you need 80,000 in volume and you've polled all your team members and you're working with your producers and they're like, well, we're shooting for, I don't know, 10,000 this month, and you only have 5 people going for 10,000 in their teams, well, you're lacking, math, $40,000, right? No. $30,000. And so it's up to you to make up that gap. It is not, they need to work harder. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes. And that's where you can take control, is you're making up that gap. And then realizing what's expected of you. Next. So how do you see if you need to do a selling campaign or sponsoring campaign season? A lot of people, when they're going for promotions, they'll be like, okay, this is where I'm lacking in the gap. What do I need to do? Do I need to, do the Cinderella campaign and sell like crazy, or sponsoring? So for long-term vision, you absolutely always have to be sponsoring. You always have to be putting people into your business, because as we know, in our direct sales model, it's a leaky bucket. And so if you are putting water back into the bucket, it will run dry. Your business will run dry. So you always have to be putting people into the business. So although there are seasons for everything, we're always doing everything. Does that make sense? But wherever you're gonna focus. So let's say that you have, again, 5 teams that are going for green. And you look into those teams. If you only have 2 people in a team and they're going for green, that's not long-term sustainability. So what does that team need to focus on? Sponsoring. They've got to get a bigger team. I would say, if you really have a team running, if you go in and you look at who's working, you do your key performance indicators, who's putting up the numbers, who's sponsoring, who's doing the parties. When you identify those people and you connect with them and figure out what their goals are, so I would say everyone's capable of at least $2,000 in PRS a month, right? Capable? Yeah. So when we're looking for people who are really running, you can put them in for $2,000 that month. But if there's only 2 people and you need to look into sponsoring, that's where your long-term goal is going to come. So how many purple status? Okay, so that's 2 elites, right? So you need to double that and get 2 more. That's 40,000, right? We need to double that to get to the 80,000 for your volume. Yeah, for your black status volume. So the thing is, if you're sitting at 40,000 right now, the answer is not a selling campaign. The volume is going to come from putting in masses of people. So whenever you are looking at doubling from purple to black status, it's not a selling campaign that's going to get you there. And I've seen it a lot of times where people will do massive selling campaigns to have a massive jump in their business. But guess what? In the long run, they ended up knocking themselves down and their teams down because they ran them ragged to get to their sales goal, and then they never go back to that status because it cannot be duplicated. So when you're going from purple to black status, you have to have a massive season of sponsoring. You have to put in a lot of people, and you have to coach people how to put it in. One thing that I love to do in a sponsoring campaign, I will tell you, personally on my team, I do a lot of sponsoring campaigns in the J months. Every J month is dedicated to a sponsoring campaign. It's just something that I've done for years, and I like it, so I kept with it. But figure out what months are going to be your sponsoring months, and you, as the leader, take control, and you host the sponsoring opportunity calls, okay? You do the 3 ways. Does your team know that they can come to you and do a 3-way call? If not, they should. You should announce it today on your team page. Whenever you need me, let's get into a schedule. We're going to do 3-way calls. You can control that, but you have to be able to be willing, not able, to do the work. So how many in this room right now have an opportunity call set up every single week that their team can depend on? That's bad. There's only 2 hands raised in this whole room. If you want the long-term vision, you got to do the long-term work. Your team should know, maybe it's once a week, maybe it's once every other week, maybe it's even once a month if you want to start there. You guys, you have to be putting people on a Zoom call, sharing the opportunity. A lot of people go, well, I don't know exactly what to say on a sponsoring call. You tell stories. You tell your story on this Wednesday, next Wednesday, you bring in Kelly and you let her tell her story of, really simply, what was her first exposure to the business, why she said yes to the business, something she's accomplished, and something, her long-term vision and goals, what she's working towards, why she's still here, and why she believes you should be a part of it too. Is that simple enough? Can we get any sort of commitment out of this room to start putting sponsoring calls on for your teams?
Yes. Yes.
If you want the next level, it's going to have to happen because, again, that leaky bucket's going to run dry if you don't do the work, okay? And that is something, that is a task. Y'all know I'm all about action and tasks. When you leave here, you should be able to do something from my class. And that task is something that is actually so simple, but has massive, massive impact. Okay, so putting those on for your teams, and like Sherry said too, the bigger your team gets, the more leaders that you develop by bringing them into those calls, showing them how to do those calls, the easier your business is going to be in the long term. Okay? And I'm not going to even talk about selling campaigns. You do the parties, you showcase the product, that's what you're going to do. But whenever you're going, let's say you have like a $10,000 jump and you have 100 people on your team, you go and you divide it up. Whatever their goals are, if their goal comes up 3,000 shy of your goal, you make it up. You sell 3,000 that month. Pretty simple. We already talked about that. We're going to skip. Okay, so something really simple as far as getting into your back office to identify these leaders is it's going to be, get some highlighters. They actually are for sale here today if you want to get them in the boutique. I got 2 packs because they actually happen to come in yellow, pink, blue, orange. Yeah, got my drift, okay. So you go into your back office and you start finding your leaders. You start finding the people who have the vision. And then you say, hey, Deborah, listen, I saw your numbers from last month in the back office. It really stood out to me. You're doing a great job. Share with me what your vision is for this business. What do you want out of it? Okay? And get on their level for what they want. And then say, okay, this is what I do. Anyone who comes to me, I usually do it at a team talk, honestly, and see who responds, because they have to do some sort of action, right? But when they come to me, they're like, yeah, Bri, I want your help, I want to run. I am willingly setting up weekly calls. I have, I think it's Calendly, y'all know that? It's calendly.com, where you can, I think it's free. You can set up your schedule, and then you can put times in there so that you give this link to someone on your team. She can go in and schedule a call. And so it works on your schedule. It pops, it's a beautiful thing. So I will then send them my call schedule, let them book a call. I will get on the phone with them every single week as long as they keep showing up. And that's really where you're going to find all of your leaders, because you're going to see people who stop showing up. And then you don't have to put your time and your energy in there anymore. And then you know, okay, well, I can't count her inside of what my goal is because her goal isn't there anymore. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You're really going to find your leaders on that, and the people who keep showing up. So when I'm on the call with them, then I say, all right, at the end of the call, I always wrap it up with the goals for the week. What are we going to do this week? I always say you need to break down your goals for at least the month, into the week, and into the day. Because we all have different personalities. So someone who is like me, like I need a daily goals to feel like I got something accomplished. Some people, daily goals, too much pressure, so they do nothing. So if you have the month, the week, the day, it's okay. It makes it okay if you get behind on one day because you still have time to hit it in that week. And same for the month. Does that make sense? So it's like, take some pressure off is what I have found. So at the end of the call, I say, all right, listen, what is our goal for the week? And it always has to do with how many parties are we booking? How many parties are we running? What is our sales goal? How many people are we messaging about the opportunity specifically? And then, are we gonna put anyone in this week? Okay, so I always ask them those 5 things. And I'm writing it down just as they should be writing it down. And then they'll say something like this. We say, okay, so how many parties are we doing this week? She's like, I'm gonna do 5, I've already got them lined up, we're ready to go. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being no big deal, it's gonna happen, it already happened yesterday, like I'm done, scored the goal. 1 being, ain't no way. Where do you feel? Where do you feel you fall out on that scale? I try to get them between a 7 and an 8. I don't want them too overly confident. That means we can push a little bit further. But if they are on the 1, 2, 3, 4 scale, then we need to kind of scale it back. So if someone goes, I'm going to sell $10,000 over this next week, which people do that, so it's not like impossible. But they go, I'm going to sell $10,000 over this next week, and I go, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, where you feel about your confidence in accomplishing that, and they go, oh, a 3. Yeah, okay, we're going to scale it back. Okay? But I help them set their goals, but ultimately, it's their goal. And a lot of times there is kind of that want to push someone further on their goals, because you will get to know the women that you're working with, especially if they're showing up every single week. You'll get to know what they're capable of, but also how they view themselves. Because a lot of times it's all about the mindset of can I or can't I, and they steer themselves. So when you start to stretch their goals just a little bit, getting them into the 6 range, the 7 range of pushing a goal because you know they're capable of it. The thing is, if they don't hit it the next week, you still celebrate. You celebrate what they did accomplish, and that is really huge because that gives them, empowers them to do more for the coming week. Okay, so here's the whole mapping thing. We know that pink is the building block of the business. We've already established that, right? But you have a map, you have a pathway to pink that is provided by corporate. It's very nice. And so follow that for your pink status, your yellow status, white, yellow status, trying to get to pink, okay? But when it comes to bigger goals, when you have someone that's looking to hit green, you can do your one-on-one calls each week with them, but I would encourage you to either weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, when you have a team that is going for elite and higher, I would do a team call with that group specifically. Because that way you can have more one-on-one interaction, you can actually get the team's goals, and then you can get back with that leader that next week and go, okay, this is what I got from your team. Sarah, Mary, Kara, Lauren, and Kristen are all gonna sell $1,500. Everyone's hosting 5 parties every single week, and so this is how far away from the goal. How are you gonna make it up? Put it in their hands. That is how you develop the leaders in your business. I said do the opportunity calls every single week. Yes, you are a leader. You should be doing those opportunity calls. But the thing is, you want to also be developing the leaders inside your business to do them as well. But that will never happen if they don't see you doing it first. That will never happen if they don't see you doing it first. And that is with everything in our business. Oftentimes, we think that we hit this purple status, this black status level, and that means that our roles change. Till the day this world is over, your role is not going to change. You still have to be doing and producing yourself. Because if you don't, neither will anyone else. So I give this a lot of the times whenever I'm coaching. But I want to give you my 6 steps to success. And in these 6 steps to success, leadership is part of that. So the steps are to help you build a daily task list. And you can take this to your teams to help them build a daily task list, to help them with their focus, to help them reach their goals. But step number 1 is connecting with new people and starting new conversations. Every single day on your task list should be, how are you connecting with people? Who are you talking to? What are you talking about? Making connections. And I'm not talking about like going live on Facebook. I'm talking about one-on-one connections need to be happening every single solitary day. Not just for the people on your team, but for you. Because again, they're not going to do it if you don't do it, but even if that bucket didn't run dry, if you're not producing and growing, it will dry up, okay? Even if you still have people in. So you have to be doing it as well. Step number 2 is, what are you going to do today that will produce a sale? So I don't mean or expect everyone to be selling something every single day, but what seed are you going to plant so that it produces a sale today, tomorrow, a week from now? Showcasing the products, doing the parties. That's all examples of what are you going to do today to make a sale. Step number 3, I say it every single time, is the most important step in the steps to success. And I believe that if we all did it the correct way, to a T, without dropping the ball, you could double your business, and that's your follow-up. Following up on your sale. I built a really big business really fast. It all started with selling a ton of product, following up with every single person, and then step number 4, I offered the opportunity to every single person who bought a mascara from me. And it grew like wildfire. I got a little lackadaisical in my follow-up, my business suffered. Saw it in my business. So follow-up is so key, and doing it right, not just checking in on someone to see how much they love the product, getting them to a love it point with their product, if it has to go through an exchange or even some help tips. But then on that step number 4, offering the opportunity, just saying, listen, you look great in that picture. Always ask for a picture. You look great in that picture. What are your thoughts on working with me? Okay, something as simple as that is offering the opportunity. But every single day on your task list should be, how are you offering the opportunity and who are you offering it to? That's also where the your 100s list comes into play too. I know we have Facebook friends lists, but for me, I need to write people down to have true intentions on who I'm talking to. and who I plan on talking to. So use that 100s list to fill in that step number 4. Who are we talking to and offering the opportunity to? Step number 5 is gonna come whenever you have your team. We all have teams here. But it's the leadership part. Every single day you should be doing a team touch. What does that look like? It can be a post in your team group, it can be celebrations, it can be your one-on-one calls, it can be your opportunity calls. Every single day you do something for your team. Leadership is a huge one. And the last step is something that we need to be doing every single day, that's why it's on the task list, and that's personal development. I will tell you something so very candid and honest. I'm human, did you know that? Okay, no, but there are days where I wake up and I'm like, I just don't want to do it today. I'd rather go lay at the pool or be at the beach. I have those days. And so I found that the only way to get me into the zone when I just don't feel like doing it today is going and watching a video, going and doing some sort of personal development. I'm not much of a reader, so I do like the Audible, but I'm in Ray Higdon's, what is it called, Rank Makers? Is anyone in that? I recommend it. I don't know how much it is. I know it costs to be in there. I don't know how much it is a month, but it's fabulous because of the simple fact that he is so dedicated to our profession that he goes live every single day with some sort of action and some sort of action plan for you to put into play that day. And just getting on there and listening to his advice in the live and watching the feed and all the excitement and the power that it brings, like that gets me into the zone. And to have someone showing up every single day live, I think is huge. So whatever it might be for you, that personal development, I would do it before you even start your day. Get yourself into the zone and get your mindset right. Another one, you know, Deb Erickson has a lot of neuro tools. If you have not gone to Deb Erickson and utilized them, she has free neuro tools. Because honestly, a lot of reasons why people get stuck in this profession, it's all mindset. And so I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but go in there and get some of her tools and just get your mind in this space and then get to work. Taking these simple tools to your team can drastically change your business. And I'm going to tell you something right now. If you will take what I'm saying to heart, if you will go and implement this stuff this week, today, now to your team, pick a day.